All right, so let's talk about short-term and long-term solutions to problems that arise when you invest. So you're an investor or a trader, whatever it is, and regardless of what path you pick, you're going to make mistakes. And when you make a mistake, you have a choice of how you go about fixing the problem that caused the mistake. So if you buy due to FOMO, that's a problem. How do you solve that problem? How do you not buy when you feel FOMO? How do you avoid making emotional decisions in future, right? Well, you have to come up with solutions. And there's two types of solutions that people come up with when they go about fixing problems. And it's short-term or long-term solutions, okay? Short-term solutions are easy and fast to do in the moment and sometimes useful, but most people never become profitable investors because they don't focus on the long-term solutions to their problems. Obviously, you need some sort of a shorter-term fix to a problem, but people completely ignore the long-term solution to their problems, and they end up just never learning the lessons they need to learn. They keep repeating mistakes because they don't solve the problem in the long term, right? Imagine you stub your toe and you fix, and your foot's bleeding, right? And you stubbed your toe because there's this corner of the room that's just really easy to stub your toe on. And to fix the problem, the short-term solution is, well, you put a Band-Aid because your foot's bleeding. Your nails come off, right? You know, grab the nail so maybe you can put it back on later, right? The longer-term solution is put something on the corner of the wall so that when you bump your toe into it in future, if that happens again, you're not bumping it against the hard surface, you're bumping it against maybe a foam material. So you can see the difference. A short-term solution will fix the immediate problem, which is, oh, your foot's bleeding, and it's obviously important to stop your foot bleeding, but people don't focus on the long-term solution. They won't stop the toe getting stubbed again because they just can't be bothered, right? The short-term solution becomes the main focus point because that's where the pain is, right? The foot's bleeding. You have to fix it, or your foot's going to bleed out, right? Your foot's going to have to come off. The long-term solution, you don't have to do. You don't have to do a long-term solution. You can just deal with the problem when it happens again. You can just deal with the stubbed toe again, right? And, you never have to actually do long-term solutions. You can just keep making the mistake, keep doing a short-term solution, putting a Band-Aid on something that you need, more than a Band-Aid on, and just keep fucking up. In crypto, people do this all the time. They'll stub their toe in crypto, and they'll put a Band-Aid on it, but they won't fix the fucking problem. They won't put a fucking piece of foam over the corner of the door. When you fuck up and you make a mistake, you can either quickly fix the problem in front of you, or you can focus on mitigating the problem from ever happening again, or you can do both. So, for example, this is just a random guy. He asked me, Daniel had been holding XRP for years. Basically, he wants to sell and put it into something else. The problem is everything else is going up a lot, so he's wondering, should he sell XRP now and buy these other coins, or what should he continue to hold XRP, right? The problem with this question is he's made a mistake. Now, what's the mistake? Can you guess the mistake? The mistake is he bought XRP and he bag held. He married his bag, right? That's the problem. Now, what's the solution when you marry a bag? We have two solutions, short-term and long-term. The short-term solution to marrying a bag is to sell it, right? It's to divorce the bag. Now, what's the long-term solution? Well, the long-term solution is to ask yourself, I bought this coin and I gained an emotional attachment to it like a wife, and it lost me a lot of money, and this is a big problem, and I need to not do this again. So what can I do to not end up bag holding the next coin that I buy, right? What was wrong in my system that stopped me from selling XRP when it was a losing position, right? Where did I go wrong? Can you see the difference here between the two approaches? One approach will fix the immediate problem, and the other approach will fix the problem forever. Now, obviously, he needs to get rid of XRP, so he does need a short-term solution. But more importantly, he's got a flaw in his system that he hasn't accounted for. And it's funny because he came to me asking, hey, Daniel, what coin should I buy? He basically said, "What? How do I've got this big bag of XRP. When should I sell it?" His question is, how do I fix this one short-term solution? But it's not, how do I stop this from happening ever again? What was wrong in my system, Daniel, that made this happen? And this is why this guy has been in since 2017 and he still doesn't know how to invest. It's because this whole time he's been so focused on trying to get short-term solutions to his problems, he's never focused on getting a long-term solution to the fact that he's bag holding this coin. He's always thinking, okay, what do I buy? When do I sell this coin? Not how do I stop this from ever happening again, right? Because in crypto, you're inevitably going to do all of these things. I don't know why this pen's so thick. God, what's happened here? Let's make this thicker. There we go. In crypto, you're inevitably going to be selling too early, buying the top. You're going to buy the wrong coin. You're going to sell the bottom. You're going to make every mistake that you can possibly make. It's inevitable, right? And most people, like I've been talking about, their immediate response is to quickly fix the error they made that is right in front of them, right? Stub your toe. Okay, how do I stop the bleeding, right? For example, Daniel, I didn't buy the bottom. When can I buy? Please, I need to get in before it goes parabolic. They're trying to solve one instance and forgetting the bigger picture. What's more important? Fixing one short-term mistake, putting a band-aid on a fucking stub toe, not caring about removing, the issue for good? Or is it better to focus on fixing the glitch in your system and strategy so that problem never happens again? Well, the solution actually is both. You should put a band-aid on your foot that's bleeding, and you should put foam on the fucking corner of the wall that you keep stubbing your toe on, right? But what most people do is they completely forget this one, and they just do this. You need to be focusing mostly on this. And that's why people don't make money, because they focus on this one, okay? So, because when you think about it, right, if you're 20 years old, you might live to 100. You might be investing for the next 80 years of your life. Why do you care so much about the immediate mistake right in front of you? Why do you care so much about righting the wrong that you just made? Why don't you just want to solve the root cause of the problem, right? Why do you need a quick fix and not a full problem solved? If you don't buy the bottom and your first thought is, how do I get allocated? You are pulling weeds out of the garden from the surface, not from the roots, right? So imagine there's like the ground and there's all these fucking roots, right? When you make a mistake, right, you see the weeds in the garden, you see the top of the weed, you see what's above the ground. And you have you can either fucking pull the weed out here and then this stuff gets left, or you can just pull the whole thing out. When you do a short-term solution to a problem, you're just pulling the top of the weed out. It's going to grow back. The problem's going to happen again. You're going to stub your toe again. Whereas if you put the fucking foam on the wall, if you do a long-term solution, then you pull the whole weed out and it's gone. Hopefully for good, right? Sometimes weeds can grow back, but generally speaking, that set of weeds is gone. Okay? Because look at it. If you try to fix one instance of an error, you are fixing this much of your mistakes, right? You're fixing this much, let's say this mistake happens again and again. You keep not buying the bottom, right? Because you didn't solve the problem of why you didn't buy the bottom. So when you go, okay, Daniel, I didn't buy the bottom, when do I buy? This is this is how much time in your life you have just fixed this problem for. You didn't account for any of this other time till 40, till 50 years old, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. You didn't account for the rest of your life. Whereas if you asked instead, hey, Daniel, I didn't buy the bottom, where did I go wrong in my system and how can I fix my system so that this never happens again? You just solved the problem for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50, whatever it is. This whole time that you're going to be alive for, the problem is now solved. So obviously you need a short-term fix. You need to stop the bleeding, but you need to do the long-term solution to a problem. So what are the questions that you need to be asking if you fuck up? So let's say you missed the bottom, right? Why did I miss the bottom? Let's zoom in a bit, right? Why did I miss the bottom? What went wrong in my system? Who did I listen to that I shouldn't have? Why did my system not account for all possibilities? What changes can I make to make sure this problem never happens again? Right? These are some of the main questions off the top of my head that you need to ask yourself if you miss the bottom. Now, if you look at this correctly, you can see that you could replace this with top, or maybe buy the wrong coin, or whatever it is, and the same questions are applicable. These are questions for basically any mistake that you make in crypto, okay? So just to summarize, when you fuck up, you have to obviously fix the fuck up. So if you miss the bottom, you obviously have to buy in. But the most important question that you could ask yourself is, when you make a mistake, is what went wrong in my system, and how can I stop this from ever happening again? If you approach crypto like this, I guarantee you're going to be a significantly better investor, okay? See you in the next one.